Good day, St. Martin. I'm Yesenia Lassero.
And I'm Austin Lawrence.
And welcome to another edition of St. Martin News Desk.
Brought to you by TV15.
We're bringing the latest and most important stories around the island and beyond.
It's the middle of the week. Let's dive into our top headlines.
In the early hours of Monday, July 14th, a head-on collision on Soccer Garden Road left two individuals injured and prompted an emergency response from the St. Martin Police Force. The accident occurred around 3:30 a.m., involving two vehicles traveling in opposite directions. According to preliminary findings, both drivers sustained injuries from the impact. One of the drivers was seriously hurt and required transport by ambulance to the St. Martin Medical Center. The second driver was treated on the scene for less severe injuries. As of Tuesday, the cause of the crash remained under active investigation by the Traffic Department of the KPSM. Authorities have not released further details pending the outcome of their inquiry. The police have issued a renewed call for road safety, urging all motorists to remain vigilant, follow traffic laws, and avoid risky behavior behind the wheel, especially during early morning hours when visibility and alertness may be reduced.
Council sounds alarm over dangerous conditions at Point Blanche prison. The Law Enforcement Council issued a formal warning to Parliament and the Kingdom Council of Ministers over the worsening state of Point Blanche prison. In a letter dated June 6, the Council described the facility as unsafe and unsustainable, citing a violent riot and fire on May 14 that endangered staff, detainees, and visitors. The Council said the situation reflects years of neglect and failure to act on repeated recommendations. It noted that basic human rights and safety standards are routinely violated and called for urgent joint action at both local and kingdom levels. This marks the first time the Council has used its legal authority to trigger such a notification. It stated that responsibility lies not only with St. Martin but also with the Kingdom of the Netherlands, which it said has failed to meet its obligations. The Council urged swift, coordinated solutions to protect lives and restore legal standards. Full documents are available at raadrh.com. Love to Learn students tour Philipsburg Police Station. On Friday, July 11th, the St. Martin Police Force hosted 36 students from the Love to Learn Foundation for an educational tour of the Philipsburg Police Station. The initiative aimed to strengthen ties with local youth and provide insight into law enforcement work. Students received a guided walkthrough of the station and learned about police operations and the role officers play in maintaining public safety. The visit formed part of KPSM's broader effort to promote community engagement and inspire civic responsibility among young people. To reward academic motivation, one student was gifted a brand new Samsung tablet through a lucky draw, encouraging continued educational development.
In the early hours of July 14, 2025, around 12:16 a.m., St. Martin Police received a report of a robbery on Union Road near Almond Grove Estate. A male victim said he was robbed by three unknown suspects who took his bag containing a cell phone, a band pass, and money. The KPSM Detective Department has opened an investigation and is gathering evidence to identify and arrest those responsible. Authorities urge anyone with information to contact the police at 1721-542-2222 or anonymously at 9300 to assist in community safety efforts.
Let's put everything on the table. People always give their opinion, and you can either take it or crunch it. Let them judge. We give in to the most irresistible flavor. We devour every nugget that falls in our hands, especially when it's our crunchy fried chicken. And let the crumbs fly if needed. Let them keep judging. We'll keep indulging. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Make the switch. Get faster internet for less.
there, it's Mizzy with a Sunshine Report, straight out of Sunshine City, St. Martin, bringing you the warmth and the sunshine you need to kickstart your day. Let's dive into today's forecast and see how the skies are treating us. Follow NewsDesk on Facebook for your daily sunshine report. So as you enjoy the rest of your day,
welcome to the new subscribers. We hit 750,000 subscribers yesterday. I really appreciate it. You keep me going. Thank you for being part of this weather community. All right, let's get right to it. 2 spots to watch. This area, the northern Gulf in particular, we're now on alert. We're going to go into monitor mode in some spots. I want to track that. I want to show you all of the models and how the models are different from what's actually going on. We'll cover the European, the American, the Icon model with this area, really heavy rain and new tropical waves sliding in. So heads up in this video, Trinidad back through Grenada, all the way up through St. Kitts and Nevis, for example, will have to watch out for the possibility of some flooding as we get down the road. So thank you for your patience in this video. I know there's a lot to cover this time of year. All right, we see this spin here. I like to go where there is going to be the potential of development first. This spin crossing Florida, leaving the Bahamas. It will bring even some heavier rain through the Keys, back through parts of Cuba. This is the spin that could develop in the northern Gulf just over the next 2 days. So giving you that heads up on that. We swing down here. We have one tropical wave that's sliding by. You can see some of the scattered areas of rain back through parts of at least near Barbados, down through Trinidad, kind of hit or miss. But look at this, watching this blob right in through here. This is a significant tropical wave. I'm not seeing development out of that as of now, but we need to watch this, and eventually as this moves toward the Caribbean, it is going to help to increase the chance of rain. But you could clearly see this does have my attention. It is really flaring up, not seeing development at this time, but it is an area we're going to watch together. All right, let's swing back to this spot here. Anywhere from the central panhandle of Florida back toward Houston, we are now in monitor mode. That means we're not taking action per se, but it is a good idea to spread the word. I don't think a lot of folks know about this area that could spin up. So thank you for sharing this channel just to get the word out. Right through here, we are in monitor mode. That includes the Houston, Beaumont area, back through New Orleans, so Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, back through parts of the panhandle of Florida. That means we're kind of waiting and seeing, but just a higher alert mode. Now, earlier, I showed you those big tropical waves sitting out here, one in particular. Know that I'm watching that for us in the Caribbean. Meanwhile, we've had some rain from overnight with one tropical wave moving in. St. Kitts and Nevis, we've had some of that rain already. Spotty storms, Jamaica, Haiti, the DR, Cuba, because of this area up to the north. Then as we work our way into tomorrow, scattered areas of rain as expected. As I've been telling you since this weekend, it's going to get more active for us, especially in the Eastern Caribbean with scattered areas of rain. But look what happens by the end of the week with that new tropical wave trying to slide in. We need to keep an eye on Trinidad, Guyana, northeastern Venezuela, Suriname for the potential of more flooding. Still some thunderstorms. Some of us dry in Jamaica, others getting some storms. But look at this moisture that may surge in Thursday into Friday. So St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, down through Trinidad. We need to monitor this, not necessarily for development, but giving you the heads up, we could see a flood potential as we work our way toward the end of the week. So really active in the tropics, watching that area in the northern Gulf, monitoring for the chance it becomes a tropical depression or tropical storm. Again, we are in monitor mode in those locations that I told you. Very warm water, low wind shear as well. That could allow that to spin up into Dexter, which is the next name on the list. In those new tropical waves sliding to the Caribbean, got you covered right here. Thank you for subscribing, being part of this weather community. Have a good day ahead.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to remember to help keep you and your family safe. If you're not in an area that is advised to evacuate and you decide to stay in your home, Plan for adequate supplies in case you lose power and water for several days and you're not able to leave due to flooding or blocked roads. This hurricane season, make a family emergency communication plan. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
New gambling study sparks calls for industry reforms in St. Martin. A new gambling behavior study has revealed that 6% of St. Martin's population, an estimated 2,800 people, are at moderate to high risk of gambling-related harm, prompting urgent calls for reform and stronger regulation. The study, led by the Ministry of Public Health in partnership with the Ministry of Teat, surveyed over 800 residents and found that 36% had gambled in the past year. Gambling was most prevalent among men and young adults, with daily or weekly play reported by 30% of participants. Popular activities included lottery games, bingo, card games, and casinos. The findings form part of a broader plan of approach under the Kingdom's country package reform aimed at strengthening rule of law and addressing public health risk. The plan includes establishing the St. Martin Gaming Authority to enforce regulations and increase oversight. With 70% of residents viewing gambling as a serious issue, the government has committed to a series of reforms, ranging from reducing public exposure to gambling, expanding support services, and launching awareness campaigns. The study's final report has already been presented to the Council of Ministers. Officials emphasize the need to strike a balance between protecting the public and keeping the industry within formal oversight. Further policy steps and public consultations are expected in the coming months.
Finance Minister slams CBCS over ex-director's move to commercial bank. Finance Minister the Honorable Marinka Gums has criticized the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin for failing to properly inform shareholders about the former CBCS's director's appointment as CEO of a commercial bank under CBCS's supervision. Gums said she was only notified after the resignation was submitted on June 26, and just days before the new role began on July 1st, despite internal discussions dating back to December 2024. She called the lack of transparency unacceptable and warned it raises serious concerns about governance, conflict of interest, and regulatory integrity. The minister stressed that the move undermines public trust, especially since the appointee previously oversaw decisions involving the same bank. Gums, supported by Curaçao Finance Minister, has requested a formal meeting with CBCS and said safeguards like cooling off periods should be mandatory. This must never happen again, she said, warning that unchecked transitions like this damage confidence in CBCS as an independent regulator. SZV and CMC strengthen regional cooperation on healthcare and insurance. The Social and Health Insurances, SZV of St. Martin and the Curaçao Medical Center, CMC, have taken further steps to improve collaboration across the region. SZV Director Glenn Carty met with CMC Director Johan de Graaf in Curaçao to continue discussions initiated earlier in St. Martin, focusing on shared healthcare and insurance challenges. The meeting brought together key stakeholders to exchange best practices and explore joint solutions in areas such as healthcare financing, digitalization of client services, and improving care quality. Automation and technology were highlighted as essential tools for enhancing efficiency and transparency. These challenges are not unique to St. Martin. They are regional, said Carty. By staying connected, we can find sustainable solutions together. Both institutions reaffirmed their commitment to ongoing dialogue and regional partnership to advance patient-centered care and innovation.
Massive tire fire at Grand Cayes sparks environmental and health concerns. A fire erupted at the Green Waste Treatment Site in Grand Cayes early this week, engulfing approximately 300 tons of tires. Firefighters and company officials managed the blaze, but the incident has raised serious questions about safety protocols and environmental responsibility. The fire started around 10 a.m. forcing authorities to restrict access to the site and advise nearby residents, especially in Arms Marcel, to stay indoors due to toxic smoke exposure. While these warnings have been since lifted, the event exposed the dangers of storing large amounts of tires without adequate precautions. Experts warn that burning tires release hazardous chemicals that pose long-term health and environmental risks. The fire highlights possible negligence in waste management practices and calls for stricter regulations and accountability. Local authorities and the community demand transparency and urgent action to prevent future disasters and protect public health.
Guess what? I got an idea. It's amazing. You see how we have the link sharing all everywhere?
QR link,
the
yeah.
QR link.
Yeah.
Raw Caribbean Channel app. Yeah. You're welcome. Put it in the back.
But it's not an app though. It's not an app. App, you have to like download something to get it on your phone, take up space. It's not an app.
It's like an app. Therefore, it can be an app. So, it's an app. Raw Caribbean TV app. Say it with me, Al. Come on.
It's not an app though. All you gotta do with that, it's a link. You take the link, you hit the bookmark, you say add to home screen, and so it shows up like an app icon, but it's not an app though.
Are you a real person? It is an app because you get to watch all the programs from Raw Caribbean at one place. It is an app.
I don't know how to explain this to you, but factually and technically, it's not an app. Kind of like we do the news, facts,
Yeah.
and you do that thing you do.
Whoa.
Point being, you just go to the QR, you hit bookmarks, and you hit add to home screen, and then you can have the link to, let's give it another name.
The app.
You want to call it the app?
Raw Caribbean TV app.
Jess.
Yes.
Jess, please, give some sense, Jess. Jess.
It's kind of like an app.
That's why she gets the big bucks.
It's not an app, though. It's not a app. What the It's not a app.
You kiss your mother with her mouth? My God. Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Yes.
It's not an app, though.
Islands Bank funds new sign to boost USM campus visibility. The University of St. Martin, known as USM, will soon get a fresh look with a new campus sign funded by Windward Island Bank, WIB. The project, set to begin the week of July 20th, 2025, will replace the old, obscured sign and improve visibility both day and night. USM President Dr. Antonio Carmona Baez said the upgrade will strengthen the university's identity and presence in the community. The new signage is more than cosmetic. It symbolizes renewed partnership with the local business sector and aims to create a welcoming campus environment. With support like WIBS, USM plans to continue enhancing infrastructure, expanding outreach, and creating more opportunities for students and faculty.
BPW Concordia empowers women with cultural currency session. On July 2nd, BPW Concordia held a powerful Members in Motion event focused on the theme, What is Your Cultural Currency? The session, led by member Cindy Peters and featuring cultural advocate Tamara Groeneveld, explored the value of cultural knowledge, traditions, language, and practices as vital forms of capital. Groeneveld, poet and owner of St. Martin's Sweetness, shared her journey harnessing cultural currency through poetry and her business, illustrating how cultural heritage can drive economic and social empowerment. Drawing on socialist Pierre Bourdieu's concept of cultural capital, the discussion encouraged women to recognize and monetize their cultural wealth to build identity, influence, and community development, especially in colonial context. Key strategies highlighted included consumer focus, creative partnerships, starting small, long-term planning, and team diversity. The event ended with attendees enjoying Groeneveld's locally made tarts, a delicious embodiment of cultural currency. BPW Concordia continues its mission to inspire professional women across the region to grow, advocate, and act collectively for empowerment. Le Fruits de Mer and Fondation Air France educate 10,000 students across St. Martin. Over the past year, Le Fruits de Mer and Foundation Air France teamed up for the Island of Discovery project, reaching nearly 10,000 students on both sides of the island. Since July 2024, the initiative distributed over 9,900 books and welcomed more than 500 students to a museum naturalis at the Old House. The project aimed to enhance local education about nature, heritage, and culture by providing books to all public and subsidized schools on the south side and distributing 2,000 books on the north side through partner associations. 32 classes visited the museum and over 100 educational banners were shared with schools. Project manager Mark Yokoyama highlighted the publication of 3 new bilingual books, including the Wild Things activity book, enriching students' learning experiences. Le Fruits de Mer has a long history of free book distribution and educational research and outreach, with over 50,000 books shared since 2016. Foundation Air France support made this broad cross-island project possible, positively impacting teachers, students, and parents alike.
Minister Plenipotentiary Arrindell joins Bastille Day celebrations in The Hague. On July 14th, St. Martin's Minister Plenipotentiary Dr. Anders Gracita R. Arrindell attended Bastille Day festivities at the French Embassy in The Hague alongside diplomats from around the world. She presented flowers to Ambassador Francois Alborn and his wife Jacqueline. Minister Arrindell reflected on the global significance of liberty, equality, fraternity amid today's geopolitical challenges, emphasizing liberty and democracy. Meanwhile, on the French side of the island, St. Martin held parades, military ceremonies, and award presentations honoring community leaders as well. Bastille Day marks the historic storming of the Bastille prison in 1789, a key event in the French Revolution symbolizing the fight for freedom and justice. That's all the time we have for today's edition of St. Martin News Desk.
Thank you for joining us. Remember, new episodes premiere every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. on TV 15 and then across all social media platforms. I'm also Lawrence.
And I'm Jacinda Lassiter, wishing you an amazing week. See you next time.
You're going to say it this week.
Stay friendly.
St. Martin.